Think about a religion that copes over the controversial ideas of God and direct our journey towards enlightenment lies not in divine intervention, but in our hearts and mind. This is mostly discussed and controversial topic over the centuries. Today, we're embarking on a journey to the heart of one of the most provocative questions in the spiritual history. What is the truth behind the concept of God in Buddhism? Before delve into the topic, we must understand the term God, what it really refers to. Let's define our term. When we say God, we usually consider all-powerful, all-knowing creator who rules over the universe. Here the term God plays big role to put people in confusion. Every religion have their own philosophy to describe the term God. Word might be similar, but its description is totally different. But in contemporary society, people are used to making linear decisions, believing what they normally hear on trend. Lack of contemplation and research leading world into big misconception. If we talk about Buddhism, Buddha's teachings are fundamentally non-theistic, meaning that they do not involve belief in a creator God or supreme deity as the basis of their philosophy and practice. Here are several reasons why the Buddha did not advocate belief in a God. 1. Focus on practicality and empiricism. The Buddha emphasized practical and empirical approaches to understanding and addressing human suffering. His teachings are based on observable experiences and practices that lead to the cessation of suffering. The Buddha encouraged personal verification of his teachings through direct experience rather than relying on dogma or metaphysical speculations, including beliefs in gods or divine beings. Buddhism is all about self-empowerment. The Buddha taught that every single individual has the innate wisdom and compassion to free ourselves from suffering. We don't need to rely on any external savior or deity. The key liberation lies within us, and our spiritual growth are in our own hands. 2. Doctrine of dependent origination. The central Buddhist doctrine of dependent origination explains the arising and cessation of phenomena based on interdependent conditions. This causal framework does not require a creator God, but instead focuses on the natural processes and conditions that lead to the existence and cessation of suffering. 3. The Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. Buddhism is built around the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, which provide a clear and practical guide to overcoming suffering. These teachings emphasize ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom as the means to achieve enlightenment, nirvana. The concept of a God is not relevant to this path because liberation is attained through personal effort and insight. 4. Anatta, non-self doctrine. The doctrine of anatta, non-self, asserts that there is no permanent, unchanging self or soul. This idea extends to the rejection of a permanent, omnipotent God. Instead, Buddhism teaches that everything is impermanent and subject to change, including the components of individual identity. 5. Skepticism of metaphysical speculation. The Buddha was known for his reluctance to engage in metaphysical speculation. When asked about the existence of a God or other metaphysical questions, he often remained silent or redirected the conversation to practical matters concerning the cessation of suffering. This approach is encapsulated in the famous parable of the poisoned arrow, where the Buddha compares speculative questions to a man wounded by an arrow who refuses treatment until he learns irrelevant details about the arrow and its source. 6. Karma and rebirth. Buddhism attributes the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, samsara, to the law of karma, where actions have consequences that shape future experiences. This law operates without the need for a divine overseer. Individuals are responsible for their own karma, and liberation is achieved through understanding and transforming one's own actions and mind. 7. Historical and cultural context. The Buddha lived in a time and place, 6th century BCE India, where various religious and philosophical traditions existed, many of which included belief in gods. However, the Buddha's teachings were revolutionary in focusing on a path to liberation that was independent of the prevailing religious practices and theistic beliefs of his time. His emphasis was on practical methods for achieving enlightenment, making his teachings accessible to individuals regardless of their beliefs about gods. 8. Buddha as an enlightened teacher, not a deity. The Buddha himself is regarded as an enlightened teacher who discovered and shared the path to liberation. He did not claim to be a god, nor did he encourage worship of himself. The emphasis in Buddhism is on the Dharma, the teachings, and the Sangha, the community of practitioners, rather than on the veneration of a deity. In conclusion, all of this might sound pretty abstract and intellectual, but the Buddha was all about direct experience. He didn't want us to just take his word for it. He wanted us to taste the truth for ourselves. He did not advocate belief in a god because his teachings focused on practical methods for understanding and overcoming suffering based on empirical observation, personal effort, and ethical conduct. By observing our own minds and cultivating awareness, we can cut through the illusions and discover the ultimate nature of reality. Buddhists believe that highest truth is beyond words and concepts, and even beliefs. The foundational concepts of Buddhism, such as dependent origination, anatta, and the Four Noble Truths, provide a comprehensive framework for spiritual practice that does not require the existence of a god. Here are some proofs from highest Buddhist scholars who supported Buddha's ideology in late centuries that avoids the ideas of God as a supreme creator. The Buddhist Nagarjuna, 2nd century, in his 12 Gates treatise, Vasubandhu, 4th century, in his Abhidharma Kosakarika, Shantideva, 8th century, in his Bodhisattva Charyavataras, Ratnakirti, 11th century, in his Isvara Sadhana Justana, Jumifam, 19th century, in his Uma Jingyai Namshi, refuted the claim that an uncreated creator God exists. Wait, then there could have one doubt again. Why Buddhist tradition embrace concept of God realm in 6 realms of existence? What is the philosophy behind God concept that Buddhists agree? Let me clear. Fast forward centuries, we find most of the Buddhist traditions embracing a non-theistic view. Now this doesn't necessarily mean they are atheist. In Buddhism, the concept of gods, devas, and their realms is quite different from theistic religions that center around a creator god. Instead, gods in Buddhism are part of the broader cosmology that describes various realms of existence within the cycle of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Buddhist cosmology often describes 6 realms of existence into which beings can be reborn, depending on their karma, actions. These realms are part of samsara and include Deva realm, God realm, Asura realm, demigod realm, human realm, animal realm, hungry ghost realm, hell realm. In Buddhism, gods are not eternal beings. They are part of the samsaric cycle and are subject to karma and rebirth. Here are some key points about gods in Buddhist belief. Impermanence. Devas enjoy long lifespans and great pleasures, but their existence is not permanent. When their positive karma is exhausted, they will be reborn in other realms. Not omniscient or omnipotent. Unlike the creator gods of monotheistic religions, devas are not all-knowing or all-powerful. They have limitations and are not free from the cycle of samsara. Role in cosmology. Devas often play roles in various Buddhist stories and texts, interacting with humans and other beings. However, they are not objects of ultimate refuge or worship. Purpose of Deva realms in Buddhist practice. The belief in Deva realms serves several purposes in Buddhism. Moral encouragement. The existence of Deva realms can encourage ethical behavior by showing positive results of good karma. Illustration of samsara. Deva realms illustrate that even the highest pleasures in samsara are impermanent and ultimately unsatisfactory. Focus on enlightenment. While rebirth in a Deva realm is seen as a favorable result of good karma, it is not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to achieve enlightenment, nirvana, and be free from the cycle of rebirth. Attitudes toward worship and practice. Respect, but not worship. While devas may be respected and can be invoked for assistance in certain practices, Buddhists do not worship them as ultimate deities. The primary focus is on the Buddha, Dharma, teachings, and Sangha community. Mindfulness of impermanence. Practitioners are reminded that the pleasures of the Deva realms, like all experiences in samsara, are impermanent and not a substitute for the path to enlightenment. Stories and teachings. Buddhist texts include many stories involving devas, such as those found in the Jataka tales and other sutras. These stories often illustrate moral lessons, the workings of karma, and the importance of the Buddhist path. While Buddhism acknowledges the existence of gods and their realms, these beings are seen as part of the samsaric cycle rather than as ultimate deities. The focus remains on personal practice and the attainment of enlightenment, transcending all realms of existence. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. Existence of God in Buddhism might sound controversial until we make through investigation and study in it. Buddha and his great scholars already got the answers. Now only job left to work on questioning and experiencing the truth by our own. Of course, this is just a small drop of treasure from the ocean of Buddha's teaching. And one thing to remember, the ultimate destiny aren't found in scriptures, YouTube videos. They are waiting to be unleashed from the clouds of your own ignorance. Hey, don't just take my word for it. I request you to investigate these ideas for yourself with an open and critical mind. My truth fellow seekers, how do you find this journey of exploration? Isn't it intriguing, challenging, or maybe even liberating? Let me know on the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Clarity Mind for more content. At last, keep questioning, keep practicing, and trust in the power of your own wisdom. Thanks for being with me till the end of this journey, and I'll see you on next video. Have a great day.